Hi guys, it's me ChazzaHD and welcome to the race watch along for the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, race 4 of the 2019 calendar. And after a chaotic weekend, I think we are in for a chaotic Grand Prix, and hopefully we are, because there was so much that happened in qualifying that I am going to kind of review just so to, refresh the memory. And also we've had some more news when it comes to people with grid penalties or starting from the pit lane for today's Grand Prix. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this Grand Prix. It's going to be good. We will have also Nib later on, about 15 minutes before the race starts, joining us for the race watch-along part. So yeah, we'll have him along soon enough. But I just want to say to you guys, hopefully on this Sunday, no matter what time it is in the world where you are, hopefully you are doing very, very well. And it's great to see you all here for what I think is going to be a very good Grand Prix. But if you don't remember or missed qualifying, let me now take you through the results of qualifying. And a couple things have actually changed after qualifying. The results have been finalised. So Valtteri Bottas will start on pole, from Lewis Hamilton second, Vettel third, Verstappen fourth, Perez fifth, Kvyat sixth, Norris in 7th, Giovinazzi 8th, Raikkonen 9th, and Leclerc 10th. Now, as we know, Antonio Giovinazzi has a 10th place grid penalty because of a new control electronics, but Kimi Raikkonen has now been disqualified from the qualifying results and will start from the pit lane because his Alfa Romeo front wing failed the front wing test through the FIA scrutineering. So Kimi will start from the pit lane with also Pierre Gasly, who was disqualified from qualifying for exceeding the fuel flow limit. So very, very interesting post results coming out from qualifying. And then the bottom 10 was Sainz, Ricciardo, Albon, Magnussen, Gasly, Stroll, Grosjean, Hülkenberg, Russell and Kubica. Now, Sainz will start P9, Ricciardo will start P10, Albon will start P12, Magnussen will start 13th, Stroll will start 14th, and then it will be Grosjean 15th, and then 16th it will be Hülkenberg, I believe, and then 17th Russell, I think, and then 18th Giovinazzi. Actually, no, 17th Giovinazzi, 16th Russell, I think. And then you got the three cars in the pit lane, which are now Raikkonen, Kubica has decided, or the Williams team has decided, that he will start from the pit lane. And also Pierre Gasly will start from the pit lane, but we knew that coming into qualifying anyway. But yeah, very, very muddled grid for the Grand Prix, and I think that will make things exciting because we know Kimi Raikkonen and Pierre Gasly have a fast enough car to finish in the points. So we're going to have a good Grand Prix today. But now let me get into previewing the teams and how I think they're going to do in today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix on the streets of Baku. Let's start off with Mercedes, who once again, when it all mattered, produced the pace that they needed and locked out the front row, and will start from the front row with Valtteri Bottas on pole and Lewis Hamilton in second. Now for Bottas, it's a lot better to start on pole position here than it is in Shanghai, where he lost the lead at the start, because the run to turn 1, I believe, is the shortest in the 2019 calendar. And the chances of you losing the lead down into turn 1 are quite small, again, because of that small run down to turn 1. So if he gets a good enough start down to turn 1, I think he'll be fine maintaining the lead. But as a team, I think Mercedes will be looking out to hold off Vettel and Verstappen behind them. But they do, as a team, have a great chance of ending up winning this race and getting a 1-2. I don't think it's going to be an easy Grand Prix. I don't think at all times they're going to have the fastest car on track. But given where they're starting and given how they've performed so far in 2019, it's hard to bet against them. It really is, because with them starting from the front row and with them so good at getting the results, especially in the Grand Prix, you can't really doubt them. So they are looking very, very good, I think, for this race. And I think are going to be very strong, and it's going to take either a very fast driver or, in terms of race pace, a very fast car to beat Bottas and Hamilton in today's Grand Prix. Next up is Ferrari, who had a terrible qualifying, with Charles Leclerc crashing into the castle section and blowing his big opportunity at pole position. And Sebastian Vettel ended up qualifying third because the Ferrari car, in the cooler conditions at the very end of qualifying, just did not have the grip to get pole position. Very disappointing for Ferrari. They will start in third and eighth. For Leclerc, at least he's gained 2 positions, with the 2 Alfa Romeos going back towards the back of the grid. But still, he should be at the front, or almost at the front of the grid, making it a strong looking Grand Prix for Ferrari. But this Grand Prix, and I've said this plenty of times, but I'm going to say it once more, this is a critical race for Ferrari. They have to win this Grand Prix. They have to, because in my opinion, if they don't, I don't see how they will win the Drivers' or Constructors' Championship in 2019, because they'll be too far behind after 4 races. And this is a team that has blown championship leads. So if they cannot hang on to a lead of a championship, how do you think they're going to come back against, one of the greatest teams in the history of Formula One? So they've got to win today, Ferrari. They have to. They've got to try something to beat the Mercedes drivers, because again, if they don't win, then 2019 is really going to be a tough season for Ferrari. Hopefully they can go out there and win. I don't have a ton of confidence in them, but hopefully they prove me wrong and go out there and get the victory. Next up, Red Bull. Qualifying, except for Pierre Gasly, even though we knew he was starting from the pit lane anyway, qualifying I thought was good for Red Bull. Realistically, when Max qualified, given the other issues that happened for Gasly, of course, and Charles Leclerc, where he qualified was where he was expecting to qualify, behind the people that didn't make errors or their cars didn't fail for Mercedes and Ferrari. So starting in 4th, I think, is a good position for Max. What can he do from there? I think Max Verstappen has a very good chance of a podium. I don't think he has a great chance, because I think some parts of this track don't suit the Red Bull car as much as, say, a Ferrari. But I think the Red Bull does have, with Max Verstappen, I think they do have a good chance of getting a podium. And I don't think it's going to be a surprise if Max Verstappen finishes on the podium. It will be very tight with Vettel, especially also Charles Leclerc, who will come through the pack, I think, quite comfortably, especially on the medium tyres, which are the better tyres to start on, I think, for this Grand Prix. So, yeah, I think a podium is possible, but I wouldn't expect a podium to happen for Red Bull. But they're looking good, and hopefully they get a good result again today with Max Verstappen. And hopefully Pierre Gasly just goes for it, because he has nothing to lose. He's starting from the pit lane. Just go for it. There's no point, pussyfooting around. Just go for it. See what happens. Maybe you can get 6th or 7th if you properly go for it and take advantage of other people's mistakes or unreliability. So hopefully Pierre does do that and learn from his kind of error in Australia in being too cautious in trying to get through the pack. But guys, before I go on to the midfield, I'm going to come to you guys in the live chat, because I want you guys to let me know who or what do you think is going to happen out of the top team, for the top teams rather. Do you think Mercedes are going to win today? Do you think this is a critical race for Ferrari to win? And for Red Bull with Max Verstappen, do you think he can get a podium? And for Pierre Gasly, do you think Pierre Gasly can get into the points? Let me know right now in the live chat, and I'll answer as many comments as I can for the next 5 minutes or so, and then we'll go on to the midfield. But I just want to say to you guys, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell for more content like this, as we do watch-alongs for every Grand Prix. And also, make sure to hit the notifications bell, as I will be doing a live review of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at around 6 PM UK time later on today. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell for that. You can either subscribe by clicking subscribe on the bottom right of the screen, or go to my homepage, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell. But before I go on to the live chat, as ever, I'm going to take a quick drink and just quickly clear my throat so it stays at an optimum level for today, because I don't want it dying out, because I think I am going to be shouting and screaming a lot today. So let me just take a quick break. Right, so now let's get reading your comments in the live chat. By the way, great to see 123 people already watching live. Great to see every single one of you here. And yeah, we'll get reading out your comments for the next 5 minutes. So we'll start with Gameplayer, who says Bottas will just run away and win easily. Rise says Bottas and Hamilton will keep the 1-2, same order. Uncle Toy Truck says go Bottas. Steve Google says this is the best Gasly has looked all season. He seems unready for a front running team. Yeah, Gasly has looked, he's looked all right this weekend, but I'm not going to say he's been great or anything. Hopefully he does, though, have a great race. Jungle Brother says, I have a feeling Bottas might take Lewis out if he beats him to the first corner. Let's see if that happens or not in, what, 50 minutes time? Air Force Boss says Mercedes are definitely going to win, but I think Verstappen will come third, and one of the Ferraris too. Okay. Let me just see some more comments here. Great to see so many comments in the chat from you guys. Dennis O'Boyle says Vettel will get Hamilton on lap 1 and will battle Bottas throughout the Grand Prix. Then Hamilton third, Leclerc fourth, and a double Red Bull DNF in separate incidents. Very interesting prediction there. JB asks, kind of, how many laps until a Renault breaks down? Luca thinks Leclerc will win. Kamal wants at least 3 safety cars. That would be great. Peter King says Vettel and Bottas will crash. Robert hopes Vettel will take the lead after turn 1. Steve Google says Ferrari were very supportive with Leclerc when he came into the pits. Yeah, they were, because I think they didn't want him to get too disappointed. I mean, yeah, he made a critical error, and I think was rightly criticising himself a bit too much. I think he criticised himself, but rightly so criticised himself. But they were trying to, make sure he didn't get too down, because Ferrari know that around Baku, you don't have to start in the top 3 or 4 to win. Look at 2017. Daniel Ricciardo crashed in Q3, started 10th and won the Grand Prix. So, yeah, there you go. Tonka Toy Truck says, Jungle Brother says, rather, Honda Power Unit looks impressive. Might be a future landing spot for Lewis in 2021. No, I don't think so. Hello to Joseph Hernandez. Great to see you. Botty Gamer says, my prediction, Perez P1, Stroll P2, Norris P3. Top 3 teams wiped out in a spectacular crash caused by Grosjean or Kvyat. It's likely to be Kvyat if that does happen, because Kvyat starts P6 and Grosjean starts, what, 14th? Yeah, there you go. And then it says, long live Racing Point, long live Lance Stroll. Right, I'll read out one more comment and then we'll go on to the midfield and then get more so into this build up to the Grand Prix. By the way, the race starts in about 45 minutes time, so don't worry, we are marching in terms of time towards the Grand Prix starting. Let me find a final comment. James Donovan, I'll end on this one, then I'll go on to the midfield. He says, I think Ferrari may have to rifle through people in leadership positions until they can find a Toto Wolff. It's interesting you say that, but I'm not gonna quite give my opinion on that type of subject right now because I want to see if Ferrari can respond today. Yeah, I'll wait and see how they do today. But now let's move on to the midfield, and it is a very, very tight midfield pack. Let's start off with Renault, who in qualifying were terrible, and they do seem to have a terrible car, especially aerodynamically, because even McLaren, using their same power unit, are comfortably ahead of them. Norris starts in 7th and Sainz starts in 9th. Ricciardo does start a position behind Sainz, but the Renault car definitely has not been as good as the McLaren so far this weekend. So not looking good for Renault. I think Daniel Ricciardo, not because of his car, even though the Renault car does improve when it comes to race day, I think because Ricciardo is such a good driver, especially when it comes to the races, you know, with overtaking people and stuff like that, I think he could get points, but he won't have to rely on the car because the car is not good enough, I think, to finish in the points. I think the Toro Rosso car is better, the McLaren car is better, the Alfa Romeo car is better. Depending on track conditions, I think the Haas car at times is better. So Renault, with their car, I don't think can really score points today. I think the drivers are going to have to outdrive their cars if they want to get into the points. We know Daniel Ricciardo can. Hülkenberg is not great at Baku, so I don't think he'll be in the points. But yeah, if Renault are going to get in the points, I think it's going to be through a very good driving performance by Daniel Ricciardo. Maybe Nico Hülkenberg, but I think more likely Ricciardo because he's been a lot faster than Hülkenberg this weekend. Talking off McLaren a minute ago, let's now go on to them. Looking good for the Grand Prix. Looking very good. Norris starts in P7, Sainz starts in P9. And as I'll get onto later when I look at the tyres and the race sets that all the drivers have, Carlos Sainz is in the best position in the midfield. Not in terms of grid position, but in terms of tyres, because he starts P9, but because he qualified in Q2 and got eliminated in Q2, he can start the race on any tyre he wants to. So he can start the race on medium, fresh medium tyres when Norris, Kvyat, and Perez, and also Leclerc, well, not really Leclerc, because Leclerc does kind of have a fresh set of medium tyres. But yeah, Perez, Kvyat, and Norris have to start on worn soft tyres. So Sainz, when it comes to tyres, is looking very, very good for this Grand Prix. As long as he stays out of trouble, I think Carlos Sainz could end up finishing P6 or P7 in today's Grand Prix. But the McLaren car looking good as long as they stay out of trouble, or stay out of the trouble that they got themselves into 2 weeks ago in Shanghai. I think McLaren can get a double points finish. And if they were to finish in the positions that they're going to start the Grand Prix in, that would be good enough, I think, for McLaren, considering how close and how tight that midfield is right now in Formula One. Next up, Alfa Romeo. Qualifying pace-wise was great, but the race, in terms of where they're starting, is not going to be great. Because, you know, they qualified 8th and 9th. We knew Antonio Giovinazzi was going to get a penalty, so we knew he was going to start near the back anyway. But Kimi Räikkönen, only in the last hour or so, has been disqualified from the qualifying results and will start from the pit lane again because his front wing failed a front wing deflection test. So Kimi starts in the pit lane and Antonio Giovinazzi, I think, starts in, 16th or 17th place, which is where he was normally starting for the first 3 races. So not too bad for Antonio, but for Kimi it is, because he was going to start in P8 and he was looking good for this Grand Prix, and the Alfa was looking good for this Grand Prix, but it's going to be pretty hard for them to come back through and finish in the points. And I think for them, the goal has to be to get at least one car finishing in the points. If they have that, then I think, considering where they started the Grand Prix from, that would be a great result. Even though, if they did qualify, or did start rather, where they qualified, I think Alpha would be looking for a strong double points finish. But yeah, considering where they start for the Grand Prix, a points finish for that team is all they can really hope for in terms of a positive result to take out of this Grand Prix going into the next Grand Prix in Spain. Next up is Haas, who really suffered again yesterday in qualifying because of tyres. This time, not because of tyre wear. It was because of cold tyres. Plenty of people struggle with this, but Haas, as we know, struggle with this quite a lot. And that's why they qualified in 14th and 17th. Now, they will start the Grand Prix 12th and 14th. So, looking a bit better for Haas. And also, the race starts about an hour earlier than qualifying started yesterday. So, in terms of tyre temperature, that will help them. But as we know, Haas struggle with tyre wear and general race pace. So, I don't think Haas, given the issues they have right now and the way their car is, I don't think Haas are going to score points. Even if there's chaos, I don't think they will score points because, no disrespect to them, but they'll be causing the chaos because that's how those two drivers, Kevin Magnussen and Romain Grosjean, normally are. So, yeah, it's not looking good for Haas. I hope they can get a points finish to really get the season going again, but my confidence for them is not good. Last two races, they have not scored any points. And their car, in terms of performance, looks to be getting worse, not better. So, yeah, my confidence for them, not good at all. Now go on to Toro Rosso. Before the Grand Prix are looking good. Kvyat starts in P6. Alexander Albon starts in P11. Kvyat, especially this weekend, has looked very quick. As long as he keeps it out of the wall and doesn't crash into anyone, I think Kvyat could finish in 5th or 6th in this Grand Prix. He really does have good speed in his Toro Rosso car and is very good around this track. For Albon, again, like Ricciardo and Carlos Sainz, he gets to start on whatever tyres he wants to because he qualified outside the top 10 and he starts from P11 instead of P13 where he qualified. So Albon does have a good opportunity of a points finish, and as we've seen, Albon is better when it comes to the races than he is when it comes to qualifying. So I think Toro Rosso, with one of their cars, will finish in the points. I don't know where, but I think one Toro Rosso will get in the points. But again, I don't know where, and I don't know who will get that. But I'm pretty confident with the way their car has been this weekend that they will get a points finish on the streets of Baku. Next up is Racing Point. Perez, P5 in qualifying. Great result. And you know what? If we get the typical Baku chaos, why not Perez for another podium? He's had the most podiums, as I've been reliably informed in the chat a couple times during the weekend. Sergio Perez has the most podiums at this track since we've come to this track since 2016. So Perez, you can't count out when it comes to a podium finish. You know, if Red Bull with Max Verstappen are unreliable, you never know, Perez could get in there. If there's a crash in the top 3, Perez could get in there. So Perez looking good, and as ever, the Racing Point looking great at Baku. We've seen that so many times. In 2016, of course, they had a podium, and they looked as though they had in 2016 the 3rd fastest car. In 2017, they could have won that Grand Prix with how quick their car was, but Esteban Ocon ruined that. And then, of course, last year, they had the best car in the midfield and got a podium. So, looking great as ever for the Racing Point team. And I think they will get a strong points finish with Perez. With Stroll, it really does depend on his start. If he can have his usual great starts to a Grand Prix, I think Stroll could nick a point. But I'm not, say, guaranteeing that because I don't know. I really don't know. I think Perez will definitely get points because I think the car overall is quick enough, and I think Perez is quick enough around this track. So I think they will get a strong points finish with Perez. Hopefully Stroll can have a great start and nick a point. He does start the Grand Prix from P13. So if he does get a great start, could be in the top 10 by the end of lap 1. Hopefully he is. And finally, of course, is Williams, who are starting this race, I believe, from 17th. Thank you, Bitzer, starting from the pit lane. If we do get a mental race with plenty of retirements, that's the only way. As just seeing Lewis Hamilton on the way to the grid has gone off at turn 15. He hasn't crashed or anything. Don't worry, Hamilton fans. He's just gone down the escape road. But there you go. Yeah, Williams need enough retirements for them to get into the points. That's the only way they're going to score points. It's not impossible for them to score points, but not because their car's not bad for pace. It's because at Baku, we do tend to see plenty of retirement. So, yeah, I think Williams, they're just going to be sat back there hoping that there is crashes galore and red flags and safety cars, all that stuff. And if that does happen, maybe they can nick a point, like I think Sauber did, who had the worst car in 2017. So, yeah, we'll see how they get on. But guys, before I go on to the next topic in this race build-up to the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, let me know right now in the live chat, what do you expect from the midfield? Who do you think will be good? Who do you think will be not so good? What are your predictions for the midfield? Who do you think Perez could get a podium? Do you think Toro Rosso could be good? Do you think McLaren will be good? Do you think Renault can nick a point? Let me know right now in the live chat. And for the next 5 minutes or so, I'll read out as many comments as I can in regards to that. And by the way, Terminus plays, the race starts in just over 30 minutes. It starts in about 33 minutes time, so we're not too far away now. The cars are just about now lining up on the grid with half an hour to go until the race starts. Right, let me now read out your comments for the next 5 minutes and then I'll go on to the next topic. James Donovan asks, do you think track temps make for a more entertaining race or not? Yeah, I do, and I think that's what's going to make this race exciting, is that as the race goes on and it gets later in the day and there's less sun on the track, I think it will get colder and colder, and the cars don't like that. They don't like it at all because they lose very quickly temperature in tyres and also brakes. So I think that's what might make for an interesting Grand Prix. Hopefully, I was hoping today, to be honest, that the sun wouldn't be shining to make it even colder, because then I think we would get an even more crazy Grand Prix, but I think we will get a good race anyway. Younger brother says, Perez is mad quick, too bad Whitmarsh and Button sabotaged his reputation at McLaren. True. Mantas says, hope to see some strong points from McLaren. I think we all do, and I think they will get strong points. I think the car is genuinely quick enough to get a strong points finish. I don't think their qualifying position is luck or anything like that. James says, Mercedes to get a 1-2 with a double DNF for Ferrari and 5 safety cars. Wow, that is a lot of safety cars. That rival Canada 2011 for safety cars. Dennis Boyle says, all I want is an entertaining race in which Ferrari win. Like, is that too much to ask? Well, for Ferrari it is. Winning a race, that's a bit too much to ask at times. Anson asks, who do you think will win? I will get onto that very soon. I'm actually going to get onto the predictions in about 15 minutes time. Actually, no, in about 10 minutes time, rather. Yeah, we're going to get onto the predictions in about 10 minutes time. So don't worry, we're not far away from that. There is something I want to get onto, though, before we get onto the predictions. Andrew Drury says, makes a great point. I hope the race is as good as the F2 race this morning. Yeah, that would be great if we could have not only as good as this morning, but yesterday. I watched yesterday's race back. Wow, what a crazy Grand Prix that was. Let me just find a couple more comments and then we'll go on to the next topic. Botty Gamer says, as a Lance Stroll fanboy, I'm either going to end up over the top in pride or devastated with anger and disappointment. Hope for another podium for my lovely Canadian. Justin says Leclerc will win and I will win €140. Let me find one final comment, then I'll go on to the next topic, which is actually an interesting one, and it will be very important to the race result, as it always is in Formula One. Let me just find one more comment, and then we'll move on. Right, Peter King says, this is Max Verstappen's race to win. Max is a grinder. He will edge out Lewis. I don't really care who wins as long as we get a great race, but I hope that we can have him up there and, you know, going for a podium or even more than that. But going for the win, I don't think the Red Bull car is quite quick enough to do that. Hopefully he is, but we'll see. We'll see. But now we'll move on to the next topic, and it is very important. It is the tyres, the race sets that all the drivers have for this Grand Prix, and we're going to go through them all now. So, you can see Hamilton and Bottas, they both start on the soft compound tyres, of course. They do have a new set of mediums and hards. Vettel, of course, the same. Now, the joker in the pack is Charles Leclerc, even though he is starting P8, because he will start on the medium tyre and then go to the soft tyre. By the way, this race is going to be a one-stop race, in case you're wondering. The reason being is because the tyre wear's not too bad, and also it's a street race, and you don't want to take more pit stops than you have to, because at a street track, it's sometimes a bit too hard to overtake to utilise fresh tyres. So it will be a one-stop race all around without incident. But yeah, Leclerc will start on the medium and then go to the soft tyre. But this is the thing. If we get a late safety car like we did last year, he can then go on to another set of new soft tyres. So Leclerc, if he can get himself up to say 4th or 5th, get the soft tyre on midway through the Grand Prix, then push like crazy, and then we get another safety car, he can put another set on and then go for the race win. Because as well, the gap between the soft and the medium tyre in terms of time gain is about 1.5 seconds, according to Pirelli. So Leclerc does have a very good chance of being up there, but he does need the start to go right for him, because if it doesn't, then he could end up in the pack and really wasting the possibility he has when it comes to his tyres. Also, another interesting thing is Max Verstappen. He will start soft tyres, but he has 2 new sets of medium tyres. Gasly, 2 new sets of mediums and 3 new sets of soft tyres. If I was Gasly, I would start on the soft tyres to get myself in the pack. You can see there Ricciardo has a new set of mediums and soft tyres. So Ricciardo will... I think Ricciardo will start on the medium tyres because the Renault car has been locking up a lot this weekend, and I don't think they'll want to start on the soft tyres if they continue to do that, because then they'll risk having to pit early or crash. Who else you got? Magnussen, same as Ricciardo. Grosjean, plenty of new soft tyres. Carlos Sainz, another interesting person. I think also he will start on the medium tyres, but then he will go to the soft tyres if he does do that, and be very quick at the end in a quick McLaren car in the midfield. You can see there Lance Stroll, 3 new sets of soft tyres. He has plenty of tyres to play with. So does Albon look, 2 new sets of soft tyres, 1 new set of mediums. So when it comes to the Grand Prix, there's 2 or 3 people who can really upset the order, either at the top or in the midfield. So there's going to be some differing strategies out there for sure. And I think the best thing for the Grand Prix would be if we get everyone who started outside the top, or sorry, qualified outside the top 10, starting on medium tyres so they're quick at the end on the soft tyres, because of the time difference between the medium and the soft. So hopefully we do get that. let me now find some comments from you guys to see what you think about this. So what do you think about the tyres? Do you think we are going to see, you know, a differing strategy from a couple people? Do you think there'll be more than one stop? Let me know right now in the live chat, and I'll answer or read out as many comments as I can, as we are now about 25 minutes away from the race getting underway. So let me just have a look at what you guys have to say. By the way, thank you Terminus Plays for joining the Fantasy League. Also, you can see in the description I have a Fantasy League code. If you enter that on the Fantasy League website, you can join the Chatter HDF1 Fantasy League. So if you want to, go ahead. Code is right there. Right, let me find some comments in regards to tyres. Mantas says, and it's a great point, late safety car would make this an amazing race in terms of leaders changing places. Yeah, a late safety car would definitely upset some people, because then people who have, say, a new set of a softer type of compound will then have a very exciting end to the Grand Prix, overtaking people. So, yeah, a late safety car would really spice things up, and I think that's what Charles Leclerc is hoping for. If there's going to be a safety car, for Charles Leclerc's sake, it needs to be in the last 10 laps, so he can utilise the tyres that he is on, which is going to be a set of soft tyres, most likely a new set of soft tyres. Right, let me find some more comments. Tonka Toy Truck says those medium tyres are going to struggle with low track temps. Absolutely. And it is also, if you remember last year, the reason the two Red Bull drivers were racing the two Renaults very hard last year was because the Renaults were on ultra soft tyres, the softest compound, and Red Bull were on the middle compound, the super soft. And they were struggling because the track wasn't warm enough for the super soft tyres to work. So it could be a factor. But normally, the hotter it is, that's when the harder compounds are better to be on. If it's cold, then you want to be on the softer compound. That's normally how it works. These tyres are very, very sensitive when it comes to temperature. Right, let me find one more comment about this, and then we'll go on to my predictions for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Jungle Brother says tyres lack, if the tyres do lack grip, it will force many safety cars. Absolutely. If they have, you know, cold tyres and cold brakes going down into turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3, then we could have some crashes for sure. By the way, I'm just seeing Antonio Giovinazzi starts 17th behind the Williams of Russell. Just seeing that on the grid. But now, I'm going to get into my predictions for the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix here in Baku. So let's now get onto them. And these predictions, they're not too far-fetched. They're not massively, you know, controversial or anything like that. But they're a bit surprising for, say, one team. So I think winning the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix will be Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes, because I think the car is quick enough. I think the team has done a good enough job so far this weekend. And I just don't see how they're going to be beaten unless we do have chaos happening for the Silver Arrows at the front. So I think Valtteri Bottas will win, also because Bottas is better at this track, I think, than Lewis Hamilton. This is quite a good Valtteri Bottas circuit. Also, he is looking to retake the lead of the Drivers' Championship, and it's pretty simple. If Valtteri Bottas wins this race, he will go back to the top of the Drivers' Championship. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter where Hamilton finishes. If Bottas wins, he goes back to the top of the Drivers' Championship, and Mercedes are going for their third win in Baku. They won here in 2016 with Nico Rosberg and 2018 last year with Lewis Hamilton. So if they do win, it will be their third win in 4 races here in Baku. And if they do that, then they're really dominating this event. In second place, I'm going for Lewis Hamilton. He starts from second. The reason I'm going for him as second is because I think he has enough speed in hand, and I think the car is quick enough that he can, maintain at least second position. I don't think the Ferrari and Red Bulls will seriously trouble the Mercedes out front. If they are going to, Ferrari and Red Bull, then they're going to have to capitalise on, say, a poor start or a good run on the first lap, because I think Mercedes are not going to run and hide, but they're going to have a slightly comfortable gap at the front, and I think we'll take the 1-2 today. Bottas ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Also, Hamilton looking to take his second win in Baku. He will then go to the top of most wins in Baku if he does win. And Mercedes, of course, looking to take their 4th consecutive 1-2 in 2019. And in third place, I'm going for someone quite interesting. I'm going to go for Max Verstappen. He starts the race from 4th for this Grand Prix. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because, I'm going to be honest, I do not trust Ferrari not to bottle it again. Yes, Charles Leclerc is very quick and he's starting on a good compound tyre, but starting down in 8th, he could easily get involved in an accident and could easily himself crash again like he did in qualifying. Vettel hasn't exactly been great this weekend. He's not been that special. He's really, to be honest, relied more so on the car to be in the position he is in. And I think Max Verstappen has been very good this weekend. He's pushed the car very hard. The Red Bull car at times is looking very good. And I think he will get onto the podium because I think he will be close enough to Vettel during the first stint, and then will make his move either during the pit stops or will get through with an overtake on Sebastian Vettel. But also he's looking for his first ever podium in Baku, and this would be Red Bull's first podium in Baku since 2017, where of course they won the Grand Prix amazingly with Daniel Ricciardo. But guys, make sure in the live chat right now to put in your predictions for this Grand Prix, and I'll read out as many as possible for the next 15 minutes or so, as we're about 15 minutes away from the start of the formation lap, and then about 18 to 20 minutes away from the start of the Grand Prix. So yeah, make sure to put in your predictions in the chat, and I will read out as many as I can in the next 15 minutes or so. But now I'm going to bring in Nib for this stream. Hopefully Nib is ready. Yes, he is. Nib, how are you doing, mate? And how are you looking forward to this race in Baku?
I am extremely excited for this Grand Prix. I think we are in for a thriller, and I am doing very, very well indeed. It's good to see so many people in the chat, as always. And I must say, I think we're going to have quite a mental race today.
Yeah, I think we will. But as I've just done my predictions. What are your predictions? I know it's been quite hard for you to come up with yours, but what are you going for then with 15 minutes to go?
Okay, well, I've gone for chaos predictions. I've not gone for actual predictions on pace. For me, I think Max Verstappen is going to win this race. Correct?
Wow.
Max Verstappen. In second place, I think it's going to be Valtteri Bottas. And then in third place, it's going to be Charles Leclerc. So I've gone for an absolute madness of a race.
I really hope you're right, like you were in China. I really, really hope you are, because it'd have to be a great race for that to happen. So, yeah, that would be incredible if that did happen. I just want to ask as well, as I'll start reading out your comments in a minute, guys. What did you think of qualifying and how chaotic that was?
Well, I think qualifying is certainly going to be the longest session of the entire weekend, longer than the race is going to be. It was long, and the longer the session went on, the cooler the track got, and that benefited Mercedes quite clearly. The tires were able to get in the window. They were working very well in the final runs on Q3, but once again, it was the story of Ferrari somehow managing to bottle it even before we got to Sunday, which is what they usually do. This time, Charles Leclerc putting it at the wall, the castle section, something which could have been avoided. For sure, he could have went down the escape road, but he committed himself to the corner and went into the wall. But yeah, it was a fantastic qualifying session, and certainly one of the best of the season, if not the best.
I'd definitely say it was the best of the season because of just how dramatic it was. It was as dramatic as a Grand Prix normally say is if it's a good race. So it was great, and hopefully that's setting ourselves up for a great Grand Prix. But now, guys, in the live chat, make sure to go ham and put in as many predictions as you can. I'm going to start off with Halam 899, who says Lewis to win from Max in second and Bottas in third. Prussia says Hamilton to win, Bottas second, Verstappen third, Leclerc and Vettel to DNF. Joseph Fernandez says Lewis, then Charles, then Perez, or Norris, or Kvyat. Morel Dunstan, I think it is, says Hamilton to win, Leclerc second, Vettel third. Robert says Vettel to win from Hamilton second and Charles Leclerc third. Let me find some more comments here if I can. Zingyo, I think it is, says Leclerc to win from Vettel second, Hamilton third, and Max Verstappen in fourth. And 292 there saying let's go Max. Marco says Ferrari 1-2. Tonka Toy Truck, I just missed that. Let me go. Let me scroll up a minute. Tonka Toy Truck says Bottas to win from Hamilton second and Vettel third. Let me find. Jokey says Bottas to win. 292 says Gasly P3. I swear. Jungle Brother says Lewis to win from Leclerc second, Max third. Jokey says Bottas win, Vettel second, Hamilton third. F Force Boss, I think, is basically guessing and saying Hamilton to win from Leclerc second and Max Verstappen in third. Botty Gamer, I've already read that one out. Eugene Kelly, Hamilton to win, Max second and Vettel third. And that's as many as I've got to so far. So yeah, guys, keep, posting comment after comment after comment in regards to predictions for this to this Grand Prix. I'll just quickly move on to a different picture. There's the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. That's of course before he crashed yesterday. Yeah, keep making sure to put in your predictions. But I just want to say again, don't forget to subscribe for a race review coming up later on at 6 PM UK time. And also, we do watch-alongs for qualifying and the race every single race weekend. And we will be doing it, of course, in 2 weeks' time with the Spanish Grand Prix. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell for that content coming up. You can either do it on the bottom right of the screen, click subscribe, or go to my homepage, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell. But I just want to read out a donation from Bobby Pinar for $4.99. He says, I thought Giovinazzi was going to start from the pit lane because of reliability. Why is Kimi? Kimi starts from the pit lane because he failed only like 2 or 3 hours ago, I think. He failed a front wing deflection test. And that's why he starts from the pit lane, because he was therefore disqualified from the results of qualifying. Giovinazzi doesn't have to start from the pit lane if you get a grid penalty for changing something with your power unit or your gearbox. He only changed his control electronics. That was a 10-place grid penalty, so all he has to do is drop back on the grid. He doesn't have to start from the pit lane. if you get disqualified from the results in qualifying, you have to start from the pit lane. There is no alternative. For example, Pierre Gasly, he was going to start from the pit lane anyway, but I think he was basically disqualified anyway, really, for qualifying, even though he did compete in qualifying, but then got disqualified anyway after the fact for exceeding a fuel flow limit. Robert Kubica starts from the pit lane because they want to change around some bits on the car and also fix, I think, the setup on his Williams car. Right. By the way, keep going with your predictions. I'll keep reading them out. Let me find some more comments here. I just scrolled past one. Let me find it again. Steve Google says Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel. By the way, thank you, Jokey123, for subscribing. Nawesh says Bottas to win, Verstappen second, and Lewis Hamilton in third. Who else have we got here? Memek says Verstappen to win. Just a petrol head says Bottas, Verstappen, then Leclerc. Anson says Hamilton for the win for sure. Arun says, let me find that, says Lewis, Bottas, Leclerc third, Max fourth, and Vettel fifth. Captain Amazing says Kimi, Max, and Daniel on the podium because Baku. That'd be incredible. And we just got a donation from Jungle Brother for 2, who says, I'm predicting first corner carnage, Bottas, Vettel, DNF. That would be incredible. I'm just trying to scroll up to see if I've missed any. Matthew Felton, great to see you. He posted the first comment when this was scheduled, and he said that he might not be able to make it. It's great to see you here, making the stream. He says he wishes Verstappen to win from Bottas second, Leclerc third, like Nib has predicted. But his real prediction is Bottas to win from Hamilton second, Verstappen third, and Vettel fourth. Another prediction, Hamilton from Vettel, Verstappen. I just saw scroll past there. By the way, just to let you guys know, I know I have to do this so many times, but I've got to do it again because, of course, we have new viewers. And I'll just switch a picture here. If you're wondering, no, we cannot show the race live in terms of video footage because we get copyrighted to hell and the channel would be copyright strike to hell and there would be no channel to speak of. So what we do here is we show pictures. We have a running order that runs on the bottom of the screen, which I'll boot up in a moment. And me and Nib will do like a radio commentary of what is going on. So don't worry, you're not going to miss a beat. We're going to be commentating on everything that is happening and have a running order scrolling along the bottom of the screen, which I will update as many times as I can, of course, when positions do swap around. So don't worry, we will keep you up to date with everything that's going on in the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I just want to ask, though, Nib, for your man Daniel Ricciardo, would you like to give a final prediction as to where he'll finish? I think you think he'll finish in the points, don't you?
I think he could sneak a point. I'm not going to say I'm super confident in that prediction because we've seen all weekend long that the Renault has not been good at this track. But I think he could sneak in the points. I don't know. I have no idea where he'll finish. I've gone for a Banzai prediction for the podiums. I don't have a Scooby-Doo where anyone else will finish. And just for those asking in the chat, the race will now get underway in just about 5 minutes' time.
Absolutely. And by the way, Nib, did you know P10 2 years ago won the race? And who's starting P10?
Mr. Ricciardo.
Exactly. So, oh, that'd be incredible if he won the race. I'm not saying he's going to, but it's a thing to remember.
Yeah, need to calm down.
Yeah. Let me just quickly, though, put a different picture on the screen. I'll start showing pictures now of what is going on live in Baku. I just want to show a picture, if I can, quick, of the trophy at Baku that they're all looking to win. at this Grand Prix. I'm trying to get it up now. But yeah, by the way, guys, in the chat, keep going with your predictions. And if I have missed yours, then I'll make sure, if I can, to read yours out. And I just need to let you guys know as well, if you are new to the watch-alongs, we will try to read out your comments during the race, but we can't promise we will, be able to read out an absolute ton. Because, of course, we have to concentrate on what is going on in the Grand Prix. And if it is chaotic, then we might not read out that many comments. We'll try to, but we can't promise we will read out that many. But let's hope that it is a chaotic Grand Prix. But this is what they're all competing for. In Baku, that trophy. I think Bottas will take it. Nib thinks Verstappen will take it. Let's see who wins that trophy today. As we are about, 4 minutes away from race start. Now, I just need to quickly, and I might as well boot it up now. I just need to quickly update the running order because, of course, we have had some changes in position in the grid. So I'm going to quickly do that now. And Nib, if you wouldn't mind just reading out some more comments from the chat.
Yes, indeed. We've got Anson, I think his name is. I think Renault will double She again. I assume you mean double DNF again. But I think Perez will get third, Bottas second, and Hamilton first. James Evans says Hamilton first, Bottas second, and Vettel in third. Niwesh thinks Kvyat will will crash out. Sorry, someone's spamming a link in the chat, so I can't see at the moment. Who else is there? Captain Amazing saying that trophy is meh, to be honest. To be honest with you, I wasn't exactly looking at the screen when I was doing that sort of presentation. Morel Dunstan says Perez is an underrated driver. Indeed, he is a very underrated driver. And of course, in P5, he will be looking to get a very solid points finish today. Christopher Payne says Ricardo and Hulk DNF. Well, I certainly hope that is not the case for Renault, because that would be an absolute disaster, of course. Astro Stevo says Bottas for the win, Leclerc second, Perez third at Baku. That is his prediction, and of course that would be what Perez's third podium at Baku. Third podium?
Yep. 2016 he was third, and yeah, third last year, and he probably would have been on the podium in 2017.
Yep. So there you go. I'll just scroll up to see if there are any more predictions. As how long is left? There is about a minute and a bit to the formation lap begins. Of course, the race doesn't actually start at 10 past 10. That is when the formation lap begins, as we're seeing Charles Leclerc on the world coverage. Of course, crashed out in Q2 yesterday of qualifying in the Castle section, turn 8. And he'll be looking to make amends for that mistake that he was absolutely furious at himself at yesterday.
By the way, I've just made sure to put the race has not started yet in the top left, so anyone joining knows the race has not started yet. I'll make sure to put when the formation lap is. It's about to get underway, the formation lap, in about a minute's time. And yet, Valtteri Bottas is getting ready there. They're all getting ready. Be interesting to see, though, from P9 down, who is on what tyres. Right, so Ricardo, soft tyre, Sainz, soft tyre, Albon, soft tyre, Magnussen, soft, Stroll, soft, Grosjean goes for the medium, Hulkenberg, soft, Russell, medium, Giovinazzi, soft, Raikkonen, soft, and then Gasly and Kubica, medium. That's interesting that they've gone for the soft, but then again, the temperature's not very high, and you need the softer tyres to get the temperature early on. That's not a big surprise as the formation lap is underway. So I'll just update that, formation lap. But yeah, we are given that this is the formation lap and it takes almost 2 minutes to do a lap, we're about 3 minutes, or 2.5 to 3 minutes away, I'd say, from the race starting. So let me just see if there's any final comments. By the way, great to see all now over 500 of you in the chat. Serugara says Charles can get second today. If he gets lucky with safety cars, he could go for the win with the tyre selection that he has. So he starts P8 on the medium compound tyres because he got through to the top 10, got through to Q3 on medium tyres. So he has to start on the medium tyres. He's not starting on the tyres, of course, that went into the wall because they are damaged. So it's a new set of medium tyres. As that's Gasly in his garage. Soon as the cars get ready to come out or get ready to come on their grid positions, I assume he will come back out into the pit lane. That's Charles Leclerc. And I mean, they're only halfway through the lap. And that just shows you how long this lap is. But and you see there the Drivers' Championship, and that's why I say that Ferrari have to win today. They're already 30 points, both drivers, 30 points off the lead. Got to win today. Vettel or even Leclerc. I think Leclerc, to be honest, will be going for it. And as you can see there, look at the gap Mercedes have to Ferrari. Absolutely massive. That's just under 60 points. And that's a big, big gap to have. But we are now soon enough going to have the start of the Grand Prix. As the front runners are now coming through the final S's and are now onto the pit straight. So, who will win this Grand Prix? Can Bottas take it to Hamilton today and retake the lead of the World Championship? Can Ferrari respond and take a vital win? Can Red Bull with Honda take their first win of 2019 and take Honda's first win in terms of win for a Honda engine since 2006? All of that will be answered in the next hour and 45 minutes, presumably. As now the Mercedes drivers line up on the grid. Here comes the Alpha. And I'll just quickly, if I can, post a picture of them on their formation lap, or the cars on the track. And there is Bottas. And here comes Antonio Giovinazzi. Here comes Gasly out of his pit box. And now here you go. The start of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's 3 lights, it's 4 lights, and it's 5 lights in Baku. And lights out, and away we go. And who gets the best start? Valtteri Bottas, I think he's got a good start. No, Lewis Hamilton does. Is he down the inside? Yes, he is. Bottas is holding it round the outside. Can Valtteri hold on to it? Yes, he can, just about. Are they going to make contact? No, they're not. There's a force racing point up to 4th place. And as Hamilton got past Bottas, I think he has, but Bottas is coming back at him. No, Bottas is ahead. So Valtteri Bottas is in the lead. Vettel is 3rd. Perez is 4th for Racing Point. No chaos in the first lap yet. Let me just put the race has started. But yeah, it's Bottas from Hamilton, Vettel, Perez, Verstappen, Norris, Kvyat, Sainz, Ricciardo, Leclerc. Leclerc's had a poor start. Stroll, another great start. Albon. I think a Haas there of Magnussen. So we are properly now underway. I don't see anyone at the moment making a move. But there you go. That is the first. And Valtteri Bottas, you have to say, pulling away massively. He has way more confidence in his Mercedes car than Lewis Hamilton does on these cold tyres as they now come through. And Bottas already going past turn 15, now to turn 16. You have to say Bottas has already broken, I think, the DRS window quite comfortably, as Vettel now falling a bit behind Lewis Hamilton, as now Bottas...
He has indeed.
Yeah, he has, absolutely. And now Bottas comes onto the start-finish straight. By the way, Max Verstappen's under pressure, look, from a McLaren and falling behind Perez in the Racing Point. Is he going to be under pressure here, Verstappen? I think he is. There's a McLaren in the slip. There's two McLarens in the slipstream. Here they go. Lando Norris around the outside of Max Verstappen. Will we go for it? No, he'll do the switchback. I presume Carlos Sainz is trying to get past Danny Kvyat. The McLaren looking nice and quick to start off with. Sainz will do the undercut again through turn 2 and try and get a good run down to turn number 3. Can he get past? Let's see. Will Sainz go for it? Kvyat kind of defends there, but he does not get past. Nib, what are your thoughts then on the first lap or two?
Well, what a fantastic battle we had there at the start between Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas through turn 1, 2, 3 and 4. Fantastic driving by those two drivers, and now he has a 2-second lead already over Lewis Hamilton, and same does Hamilton over Vettel, and Sergio Perez up in 4th place. Fantastic job there. But it looks like Daniel Ricciardo is now coming under pressure from Charles Leclerc, who's in 10th place. He's lost 2 places at the start of this race. So poor start there for Leclerc, who of course is on the medium compound tyre, and we're going to see a restart here. That brilliant start that Lewis Hamilton had there was already alongside Bottas heading into turn 1. Bottas defends brilliantly around the outside, and Perez looks like he's going to go around the outside there in turn 2 of Max. Indeed, he does, around the outside of Max. That is a brilliant move, and as you can see, Hamilton tried to make the move, and there's a restart. Oh, sorry, not a restart, a replay of his start. Trying to go down the inside. Bottas defends very well. They do very well not to make contact there. And what an absolute start that was there. But Hamilton, as you can see, just clattered over that curb, and that compromised his run out of that corner as we sadly cut off and we're on board with Alex Albon from his start on the outside through turn 1. Are we going to see some contact? Oh, he gets extremely close to that outside wall there, does Alex Albon. We're going to have a outside camera shot of it. Now, does he clip it? Yes, he does.
Big time.
Big time. Straight into that Tech Pro barrier. And he doesn't have any damage for his sake. And we're going to see a behind view of Sebastian Vettel from the two Mercedes battling. Vettel with a solid start, just doing what he needed to do, really. I don't think he was ever going to get ahead of the Mercedes at the start. It isn't quite a very long run down, as we've had Charles Leclerc now get past Daniel Ricciardo up into P9 now, as we've been watching all of these replays. And
Leclerc.
It looks like...
No, go on.
And it looks like just everything has remained the same throughout most of the field here.
Yeah, I was just going to say Leclerc getting past Ricciardo down the pit straight. And now Leclerc now has to get after Carlos Sainz. Stroll is P11 from P13, decent start. Albon P12. Kevin Magnussen is down to 13th. By the way, Max Verstappen, I think, is about to go for a move on Sergio Perez. Hülkenberg is in 14th. And then you've got Antonio Giovinazzi nicely in 15th. And he does have a faster car than Hülkenberg, so he can make positions. Here comes Max Verstappen. Down the pit straight. Oh, he's nowhere near close enough. And, of course, the Racing Point in a straight line is so quick. So he will not be making a move down to turn 1. There's a move back there. Who's that? It's Sainz passing Kvyat. So Kvyat's been passed by both McLarens after... 3 laps? And here comes Charles Leclerc down the inside. So Leclerc, Kvyat's fallen back so quickly, Nib.
We also seen Stroll get past Ricciardo there down the main straight, as well as Kvyat. No, not going to be quite close enough there to Leclerc, but Leclerc doing a good job to get back up into P8 at the moment. And Stroll is certainly under a bit of pressure from Ricciardo there. But, of course, it was Stroll who managed to get past down the straight, down into turn 1.
Absolutely. And you have to say, I think Ricciardo, he's now got Albon quite closely. I think Ricciardo might start to drop back because, as we've said, the Renault not looking good this weekend. So Leclerc's up to 8th where he started. Lance Stroll is up to P10. We're about to see a replay of this. And that is the most comfortable pass you'll see. I'm not even sure if that was DRS or not, but that was so comfortable down into turn 1.
That was DRS.
Okay, but still, that shows the lack of speed in a straight line that that the Renault has. So the order now, running along the bottom of your screen, is the current live order. And I'll just quickly, if I can, put a new picture on the screen. But Max Verstappen, you have to say, is being held up, I think, by Perez. Not massively, but he could definitely go faster than Perez than he is right now. As he has DRS, he's getting a run on Perez. Is he going to go for it? He might go. No, he's too far back. It's too much of a risk. And here comes. Is that? Yeah, that is Charles Leclerc down the inside. And that's Stroll passing Kvyat. Ricciardo Kvyat, I think, has an issue because he's lost about 5 positions in about 4 laps. He has some kind of issue. And now here comes Albon. Nib, I think Kvyat has a serious issue with his car.
Yeah, I've heard. I just heard the rest of there saying he might be struggling with rear tires, and on the last lap he did a 153.9 compared to everyone else who was in the 50s or 49. So Kvyat is miles off the pace at the moment, and we're just getting an onboard replay from Charles Leclerc overtaking. That was Carlos Sainz into turn 1. Of course, he has Lando Norris ahead of him now. But let's just look at Kvyat's run out of here. Or is this going to be a fantastic move by Albon? As a nice move that by Albon, just chucking it up the inside. Nicely done, getting past his teammate there into turn 2. But this has been certainly a good start to this race, as now we're going to have Charles Leclerc storming. But once again, Max is just about half a second behind Perez, and it is crucial for his race that he gets past Perez as soon as he possibly can. And on this lap, if he stands any chance of having a podium finish in this race. And saying that, Sebastian Vettel is nearly 6 seconds off Lewis Hamilton already. But we've got Verstappen now coming behind Perez, and surely he's going to be close enough here as he opens up the DRS. Now, right behind Perez, down into turn 1. Is he going to be close enough? He's going to go down the inside. Perez defends quite strongly, very strongly indeed. He gets the move done down the inside of turn 1. Great move there by Max. And he is now up into P4. Fantastic defending there by Sergio Perez, I must say. But he just couldn't get the job done under the brakes on Max. And whilst that was going on, Charles Leclerc moved up into P6 past Lando Norris, and we're just getting a replay now of Max getting past that Perez. That was very close to clipping the rear left of Sergio Perez there. Very close indeed. But this has been as I think we've had Daniel Kvyat just pit. Yes, we have. Sorry, I just had live timing flashing up all at me. Yes, Kvyat has just pitted onto the medium tyre.
Yep, he has. So Leclerc, I believe, is now up to 6th. And then Norris is down to P7. Sainz is 8th. Stroll is 9th. Kvyat 10th. And by the way, I think Magnussen was basically past Kvyat by the time Kvyat pitted anyway, because he was about 0.2 behind in the middle sector. So Magnussen, I think, is up to 12th. And here is Leclerc. Leclerc's flying on those medium tyres, and I think those medium tyres are looking very good right now. Very, very good. And
He's matching the pace of the Mercedes boys.
Yeah, so proof that the tyre's working well. And I'm basically already going to update the orders. Leclerc 5th, because I think Leclerc's about to cruise past the racing point of Sergio Perez here. And yeah, he's definitely going to get past. Perez, I don't even think will fight it too hard because he knows the Ferrari is so quick. And there you go. Look at the speed the Ferrari has, and he's now to P5 and now can get after Max Verstappen. The first proper hard person for him to pass, but he's not too far ahead, is Max. But yeah, there you go. But yeah, we've got Magnussen down in 12th. Oh, Gasly's just passed Hulkenberg. There you go. Gasly down the inside of Nico Hulkenberg. So Gasly's made a great start. Grosjean has got past Antonio Giovinazzi. Kimi Räikkönen, I think, has pitted. As Kimi Räikkönen, yeah, there you go. Kimi Räikkönen in the pits for a set of medium tyres. But yeah, Grosjean is 15th. Magnussen has actually just been passed by Gasly. So Gasly's flying on the medium tyres. The medium tyres are the tyres to be on right now. There is no doubt about it. Everyone that's on it is honestly flying through the field. Gasly and Leclerc, I think, are currently proving that. But I'm just updating the order quickly. So Russell and Kubica are 17th and 18th. Kvyat is 19th, but did pit very early on. We might actually get a 2-stop if the tyres are suffering that much. You never know. But yeah, I think... And yeah, let me just quickly update Gasly ahead of Magnussen in P12. But yeah, Nib, you have to say the medium tyres are on fire right now.
Yeah, that medium tyre is certainly looking very good, but I am absolutely stunned by Sebastian Vettel's lack of pace so far in this race. 6.5 seconds off Lewis Hamilton, and then 10 seconds off Valtteri Bottas. Absolutely miles off in this race. And Leclerc on the compound harder is half a second quicker than Vettel on the previous lap. So I think it's clear to see.
Hold on, we got Albon and Ricciardo here racing. Also, the McLarens are racing pretty hard. Here's Albon looking to go for a move on Daniel Ricciardo. Yeah, the McLaren's also very close. Leclerc, by the way, if you look at the timing screen on the left, he's taking so much time out of Max Verstappen's lead over him. Is Albon going to go for it? No, I don't think he will. If he does, he'll probably crash because turn 3, especially at the start of the race, when the cars are fat with fuel, is very hard. But we've got Antonio Giovinazzi in the pits and Kevin Magnussen. Here's a replay of Albon trying to do a switchback on Ricciardo, but then getting a bit of oversteer on exit. And there's another replay of it. I'm just going to quickly throw another picture on the screen of how close it is in the midfield at the moment. And I think this picture is from when Stroll passed, he was just ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. And I think they just passed Kvyat at that point. But there you go. There's another picture for you guys. But yeah, you said, Nib, with Vettel's losing at least 1 second a lap to Valtteri Bottas. 9 laps in, and he's what? How many seconds off the lead? We're talking almost 10. In fact, 10. It's over 10 seconds. He's losing a second a lap. Vettel has no pace in that Red Bull car. Leclerc has plenty.
Ferrari.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Ferrari car. Here comes, though, Carlos Sainz past Lando Norris. So Sainz is up to P7. And I will say as well, the McLarens are not too far behind Sergio Perez. They look to be faster, actually, at this point of the Grand Prix. So
Leclerc is now within a second of Verstappen as well. He set the purple. He did a purple first sector on that previous lap as well. Nico Hülkenberg now coming in the pits. And I must say, we're seeing some very early pit stops in this race. So I wouldn't actually be too surprised if it was a 2-stop in the end for most of these midfield teams.
Yeah, I think lap 9, that's very early. And you have to remember, it's a long track, very long track, plenty of corners to deal with. So, yeah, it's very early for a pit stop. So it might be a 2-stop at this rate. But Leclerc, as you were saying a minute ago, Nib, is now within a second of Max Verstappen. And I think, given the power the Ferrari has, I think Leclerc is going to get past. And with the grip he has on those medium tyres, Leclerc looks like the man on the move. And look at that, Vettel not that far ahead. Leclerc could be up to Vettel at the end of the first stint at this rate. But I'm just updating the rear end of the order because some people have pitted. So Magnussen's back in 17th, but has pitted. And here we go then. Charles Leclerc, and I think this is going to be a comfortable overtake, to be honest. Max will fight so hard to keep him behind, but I don't think he'll be able to stop it from happening. And look at that. No contest. The Ferrari wiping the floor with the Honda. And he's now to P4. Leclerc, man on a mission, and is only 4 seconds behind his teammate. And that's coming down, by the way, by quite a bit a lap. But yeah, Raikkonen is pitted, by the way. He's 18th. Hulkenberg's pitted. He is in 19th. And Giovinazzi's last, but has pitted. Amazingly, we're about 10 laps in, and F1 is still on the track and is racing. So there you go. Lando Norris has just come into the pit lane. So Lando Norris in. That promotes Stroll and Ricciardo up. And Gasly here is Pierre Gasly with DRS on Daniel Ricciardo. And that just makes a mockery, really, of Renault's car. I know the Red Bull is faster, but he made that look so easy. Down into turn 3. So Gasly's up to P9 now. And who we got? So Perez is 6th. Sainz is in 7th. Stroll looking good. He's up to 8th. Hasn't pitted yet. 9th is now Pierre Gasly. And, well, I was going to say... Well, no, he hadn't made it yet. He was about to pass Lance Stroll before the castle section. But waits. I think smartly waits because that was going to be an accident, I think. Here's a replay of him passing Alexander Albon down into turn 1. So Gasly's on fire. He passed a car into turn 1 and then another car into turn 3 and then he's just passed Lance Stroll down through turn 13. Yes.
13.
Incredible pace by the Red Bull. He's looking super quick, and I think, again, this is showing the medium tyre is the tyre to be on, without a doubt. But Grosjean's 12th. Russell's now up to 13th, but that's because Norris is pitted. Norris is about to pass Russell, I think, in a moment. So Norris is in 14th. And then the rest of the field is as it is. Oh, Perez. Perez is pitted. Sergio Perez comes into the pits as Daniel Ricciardo's in the pits as well with Lance Stroll. So we're now getting some pit stops. Plenty of people now pitting. As, yep, Stroll, Ricciardo and Perez all in the pits. What tyres are going on that Renault? That's a set of hard tyres. No, medium tyres. Thought I'm over a set of hard tyres, but they go onto the medium tyres. And he will drop back down. Look at that, he's been jumped by Magnussen and Kimi Raikkonen. So Ricciardo's lost position. Lost 2 positions there. And look at Giovinazzi and Hulkenberg, look in the back, racing not to be last. Giovinazzi going to do the switch back through turn 2. I think he should get a great run. Oh no, Hulkenberg has DRS. I think because he was kind of behind going into that DRS activation zone, so Giovinazzi will have to wait. But yeah, Ricciardo's lost 2 positions there. Actually, no, 3, because Kvyat pitted early as well. So Ricciardo is in a net P13, I would say, right now.
Now, Chaz, you wouldn't quite believe this, but Charles Leclerc is already within DRS of Sebastian Vettel. He is absolutely flying out here at the moment.
Vettel's
I think Vettel is going to coming in the pits. Yes, he is indeed. Yep,
Leclerc could win this.
Vettel in the pits.
He could honestly win this. He's so quick. He caught 4 seconds in about 2 laps. That's unbelievable speed from Charles Leclerc. And here comes Vettel. Puts on the medium tyres. He will come out in traffic, I think. Maybe from Carlos Sainz, or will he be just fine? But there is Sainz, so he'll be fine.
He should be clear from Sainz, yep.
Yeah, he is. Just about. That's vital for his Grand Prix. Cold tyres, though. Won't want to lock up. Sainz will get DRS, but I don't think he'll live with him very long. As Grosjean has just passed Alexander Albon. Yeah, Grosjean has just passed Albon for position. There you go. Kvyat's just passed Robert Kubica. But Leclerc is flying. And look at the time he's taken out Hamilton. It was 8 seconds a minute ago. Now it's 6.3. He's flying.
He gained 1.5 seconds on Lewis Hamilton in the first sector alone. Leclerc is on fire.
Absolutely. I cannot believe. I thought the mediums would be a good tyre to start on, but not that good. This is unbelievable. He's going to take 2 or 3 seconds out of him on this lap alone. And yeah, they're going to have to pit Valtteri Bottas, but that leaves Lewis Hamilton at risk from being caught up even more unless they do a double stack, but I don't think they can. They're too close, and it'd be a bit too panicky, I think, to do that right now. But Leclerc he's about 2.5 seconds up, I think, on Hamilton so far on this lap. That's how quick he is so far, and yet Bottas comes in to the pit lane. And Hamilton continues. There's no way they could double stack. And the medium tyres go on for Valtteri Bottas. So Hamilton's up into the lead, but has not pitted yet. Charles Leclerc is second. Has not pitted yet. Verstappen will go up to third. And Bottas will rejoin in P4, way ahead of Sebastian Vettel, who is basically nowhere in this Grand Prix in terms of position and speed. Verstappen is third. Bottas now fourth. Carlos Sainz has just pitted. That promotes Pierre Gasly up to sixth. We have to also say Pierre Gasly's flying. Already got up to sixth and isn't that far off the top five. You can see him there in the background. So looking good for Pierre.
Might I just say, on the previous lap, Sebastian Vettel caught Lewis Hamilton by 3 seconds, and he is only 4 seconds now behind him on this lap. Leclerc is showing some ridiculous pace, as is Pierre Gasly, who's in 6th place. And as we see Charles Leclerc on our screens right now, he's 3.5 seconds. He's gained half a second in just the time that I started speaking, has Charles Leclerc. But I assume that Lewis Hamilton is going to have to come into the pits now. But this medium tyre, as the Mercedes boys are ready for Lewis Hamilton to pit. But this medium tyre is way and above the quickest race tyre at the moment. It is absolutely incredible. And that is why so many people have pitted early and put it on, because it's quite clearly the best race tyre.
Absolutely. And the amount of time that is being gained from it, and also the undercut is massive at the moment because Norris has got back ahead of Sainz and is about 2.5 seconds ahead. So the undercut is massive at this circuit. And you know what? Because Vettel pitted 2 laps earlier, I don't think he'll be too far ahead of Vettel either. And here he comes. So that's Bottas. And Vettel, I don't think is too... There is Vettel. I just saw him in the background. So Sebastian Vettel, not that far behind. Only... Where is he? There he is. So it has closed a bit between Hamilton and Vettel to about, what, 3 seconds? 3.5 seconds? Something like that. So, yeah, the undercut is really powerful. There you go. Sebastian Vettel, fastest lap, 1:46.9. And you know what? With the way the race is going, I think we're nailed on for a 2-stop race here. I think with the way the tyres are, you can gain so much from pitting that you probably would be better to do a 2-stop at this rate. But Leclerc now leads. I'll update the order in just a moment, guys. I just want to make sure I get the back end of the field in their right positions. Kimi Räikkönen in P14. Kubica 15th, Ricciardo 16th, but he has pitted and others have not. Lance Stroll. Good thing though for Ricciardo, he has jumped Lance Stroll somehow. I think he must have done it on track because he came in behind Stroll, I'm pretty sure. So there you go. I'll drive through for Robert Kubica. I don't know what for. But Hulkenberg is 18th, Giovinazzi is 19th, and Albon 20th. So Albon's really lost out from staying out too long. Car being driven to pit exit early. What an embarrassment for the Williams team.
Oh dear.
That's Williams at their absolute finest. And here comes, who's that? Is that Max Verstappen? Yes, it is.
Yep.
So Max Verstappen coming in, putting on the medium compound tyre. And gets going again, and that's Pierre Gasly, his teammate, who will go past him. So that's how much the medium tyres are working. But you have to remember, Pierre Gasly has not pitted yet. So Bottas now up to second, Hamilton now up to third, Sebastian Vettel now up to fourth. Vettel, by the way, he's only 1.1 seconds behind Hamilton. So the Ferrari car looks very good on the medium tyre right now, as they now come through the first sector. And yeah, Ferrari are coming alive in this Grand Prix. And so Verstappen has come out in P6. Perez is in P7. Grosjean, I don't think Grosjean is pitted yet. If he hasn't, he's doing very well to stay in the top 10 with the tyres he has on. And then, yeah, Norris is 9th and the rest of the field is already done. By the way, I'm noticing Charles Leclerc's not exactly having his lead being absolutely torn apart by Bottas either. It's staying at a comfortable 13.5 seconds. If he can keep it like that and then come in and put on another set of, fresh tyres, you never know. Charles Leclerc could really go for the win. As I'm just trying to see if we've got any battles on track. No, we have not. There's no car that is, or now I say that, now Lando Norris is within a second of Romain Grosjean. So that's the next overtake that will be coming up here in Baku. By the way,